Imagine a world where all the ice is melted. It's not a distant fantasy, it's a potential reality. Welcome to the unsettling reality of melting ice caps. In this era of rapid climate change, our planet's ice caps are suffering. They're not just melting, they're vanishing at an alarming rate. Imagine the amount of ice larger than the size of the whole United Kingdom disappearing each year. It's hard to fathom, right? Yet that's what's happening right now. Now you may think, why should I worry about some ice melting thousands of miles away? Well, the truth is, it's not just about the ice, it's about the global implications of this melting phenomenon. Scientists warn of a worst-case scenario where all ice could be melted by the turn of the next century, the year 2100. It's a daunting prediction, but one that's grounded in hard data and ongoing observations. One of the most immediate impacts of this ice melt is on global sea levels. You see, as ice melts, it adds to the overall volume of Earth's oceans. This doesn't just mean more water, it means a rise in sea levels. In the past 100 years alone, global sea levels have risen by about 8 inches. But with the current rate of ice melt, this is expected to accelerate. By the end of this century, if the melting continues at this pace, we could see sea levels rise by up to 6 feet. This would result in catastrophic flooding in coastal regions worldwide, displacing millions and causing untold damage. And the impacts don't stop there. Melting ice caps also mean a loss of habitats for polar species, changes in ocean currents, and even impacts on global weather patterns. This is the unsettling reality of melting ice caps. It's not just an environmental issue, it's a human issue. It's a global issue. And it's one we can't afford to ignore. As the ice caps continue to dwindle, the future of our planet hangs in the balance. With the sea levels rising, coastal cities worldwide are at risk. Now let's take a moment to visualize the world as we know it today. There's a good chance that you, or someone you know, lives in a coastal city. In fact, more than 2 billion people reside in these urban areas. That's over a quarter of the world's population. Now, imagine if these cities were to gradually disappear under rising sea levels. Coastal cities are particularly vulnerable to the effects of melting ice caps. As the planet warms and ice melts, sea levels rise, threatening to submerge these cities. This isn't a distant possibility, but a reality that we're inching closer to each day. Let's focus on a few cities that are particularly susceptible. Take Miami, for example. It's been called the ground zero for sea level rise, with parts of the city already experiencing regular flooding. In New York, a city surrounded by water, the prospect is equally alarming. The city's infrastructure, including its subway system, is at risk. Then there's Shanghai, one of the world's most populated cities. It's already grappling with the issue, and projections suggest that the city could be almost entirely underwater if sea levels continue to rise at their current pace. But it's not just these metropolises. Coastal cities from Amsterdam to Mumbai and from Lagos to Sydney are all on the front lines of this global crisis. The potential displacement of people is staggering. We're talking about potentially hundreds of millions of people having to abandon their homes, their livelihoods, and the cities they love. This would not only be a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented scale, but it would also disrupt economies and societies across the globe. The loss of coastal cities would mean losing cultural heritage, economic powerhouses, and hubs of innovation. It would mean losing places that millions call home. The potential loss of these cities would be an unparalleled catastrophe. The melting ice caps don't just affect sea levels, they also have a profound impact on our global climate. Let's dive into the science behind this. You see, the polar ice caps act as Earth's air conditioner. They reflect sunlight back into space, helping to keep our planet cool. However, as they melt, this reflective surface diminishes, causing the Earth to absorb more heat, not reflect it. This is known as the albedo effect, but that's not the only change. The meltwater from ice caps can disrupt ocean currents. Ocean currents are like giant conveyor belts, moving warm and cold water around the globe. These currents play a crucial role in regulating our climate. However, the influx of fresh water from melting ice can slow down these currents, leading to unpredictable weather patterns and extreme weather events. Moreover, the disappearance of ice caps could lead to a significant rise in global temperatures. Some scientists predict that if all the ice melted, global temperatures could increase by up to 5 degrees Celsius. This might not sound like much, but even a small rise in temperature can have disastrous consequences, including more intense heat waves, droughts, and storms. So, what does this mean for us and our planet? Essentially, the steady, predictable weather patterns we've grown accustomed to could become wildly unpredictable. The weather as we know it could become a thing of the past. The situation may seem dire, but it's not too late to act. As we gaze into the face of this stark reality, we must not be overwhelmed into inaction. Instead, let's take this as a clarion call to marshal our collective human ingenuity and determination. To begin with, we must drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the primary culprit of global warming. This means transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. It's not a quick fix, but a long-term commitment to a sustainable future. Next, we need to focus on reforestation and afforestation. Trees, as you may know, act as carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. By planting more trees and preserving existing forests, we can counterbalance some of the emissions we produce. Moreover, we should invest heavily in climate change research. We need to better understand the dynamics of our changing climate and devise innovative solutions to not just slow down the melting of ice caps, but potentially reverse it. This could involve geoengineering techniques or developing carbon capture technologies. Lastly, but most importantly, we need to change our mindset. We need to recognize that our actions today have long-standing effects on our planet and future generations. The choices we make, the lifestyle we lead, all contribute to the health of our planet. The future of our planet depends on what we do today. It's time to act.